Hello one, hello all. It's the most imaginary albums, ghost of them all, Casper in the flesh, and it's time for a review of Sabrina Carpenter, Short and Sweet. This is the brand new album from Sabrina Carpenter, her sixth album if I'm not mistaken. And it's crazy that this is her sixth album because I've just heard about her this year, with her last album being more R&B and pop. Alt pop to be exact. I was introduced to her through some lead singles that she dropped. Espresso I wasn't too crazy about first time I heard it. Thought it was kind of obnoxious. Thought it was kind of annoying, but looking into it more, it's very clear that she is definitely that ex that will make her feelings known and be kind of cheeky about it, be kind of, playful with it, which I didn't exactly catch on to, but listening to it more and more, I got an understanding of where she was coming from. But one thing I will say is I don't really find her vocals to be as distinct as most of her contemporaries. In fact, I think she sounds like some of her contemporaries. And don't get me wrong, she does have singing chops. There is no denying that. And she certainly does have range. I just wish they were more unique. But I feel what she lacks in the vocal dichotomy, she definitely makes up for in her lyrics, her production choices. With how clever and humorous her songwriting is, and with how interesting her production lineups could be. I also want to say with a lot of modern pop music, you're definitely getting a lot of songs that revolve around sex, relationships, gender issues, or gender commentary, I should say, spiting their exes, toxicity. But I think sonically and lyrically, Sabrina does things differently here. In terms of a sonic respect, you definitely hear the combination of country that's sprinkled into a bit of these tracks, along with some electronic additions as well. And with the way she puts them together, I would say they're definitely more standout. Also with this album being as long as it is, which is 35 minutes, a little over half an hour, I think it does live up to the title, maybe ironically, in a very sarcastic and crass way. Crass? You mean like the band? No, not UK legendary hardcore punk band Crass. However, that would be pretty sick. And what I do find interesting is she is a young artist, but it seems to me she's pulling from artists that were way before her time. And when I say pull from, I mean a similar sound design, almost a similar style, such as Talking Heads, Paul Simon, Joni Mitchell, a little Fleetwood Mac, and I would say vocally she does resemble artists of today like Billie Eilish, Ariana Grande, Olivia Rodrigo, a little Taylor, a little Phoebe Bridgers. It's just like that breathy, it's just like those breathy vocals are eerily similar to them. But I will say, in terms of production, in terms of songwriting, there's a vast difference. Mostly due to her sexual sense of humor, her crudeness, again, her sarcasm, which I guess you could also compare to Olivia Rodrigo, except maybe she goes a little more R-rated with it, with her breathy, projected, and passionate vocals on Please, 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 which is a nice combination of synth pop, country song, and honestly it was the song that won me over, with its soaring reverb arpeggios just twinkling over the track, some funky dance grooves, acoustic guitar. Not only that, but her sense of humor, her country vocal drawl that she puts on here. How big, don't embarrass me, motherfucker. As she's preparing for the downfall of a relationship she's currently in. And she just has this fear of her partner embarrassing her and begging her partner for her to be wrong with her prediction. Also, the over-the-top keeping her partner out of the public bars is pretty funny. Like trying to sway him of the comfort of being inside, saying how the ceiling fan is so relaxing. Does it just make you want to just stay where you are? Also saying her feelings, her emotions are one issue, but also keeping her ego intact is very important to her as well. And how just letting her down would just destroy her on all cylinders. But she finds a very comedic way to express it. And also with how talking headsy this song is, I think it's a missed opportunity to not collaborate with David Byrne live and reunite the band. I'm just saying. There's also the adorable, sexually, manically over-the-top horny Juno. Over these dreamy keys, nice vocal grooves, with its thumping synth bass, the vocal grooves on the refrain, that also has a mix of country and synth pop as well, which I know is an odd combination. It shouldn't work. It sounds very sanitary in concept, but the way they execute it here is great. I love the unhinged sexual lines through here, like, love the way you fit, God bless your dad's genetics. Or how she showed a provocative picture of this guy to her friends and they high-fived. Pretty much putting the objectifying angle on the other foot here, where it comes from the other gender. Also, the blaring, distorted guitar solo at the end is fantastic. Great guitar melody. You'll also pay attention to tracks where the sonic detail of the production is definitely paid attention to, like on Coincidence. That is reminiscent to me of Paul Simon meets Olivia Rodrigo. Olivia Rodrigo's Bloodsucker, to be exact. With immensely bright acoustic guitar strums, bizarre synth bass, and hand claps. And the humor returns here, but in the context of Suspicion, where she uses sarcasm as a veneer of suspicion of infidelity, where she starts putting these pieces together of an affair going on, and she's saying, what a coincidence. And I love the line, what a surprise, your phone just died. Your car drove itself from LA all the way to her thighs. So yeah, I definitely enjoy her display of vintage sound, her showcasing of humorous lyricism. But I do think there are tracks here where the production is a little just too bland. Could have used something, even points where it sounds a little blown out, like on the opener. But I think Good Graces probably has the most dull, flavorless production, which comes off to me as a relationship disclaimer, saying how if this guy does her wrong, she will do all these things to spite him. Certainly she's saying, don't fuck with me. But I just wish the production didn't sound like a lesser version of Ghost Town DJ, Be My Boo. And I think taste, to me, is certainly a missed opportunity, because if the production didn't sound so washed out and the instrumentation didn't sound so buried, this could have been a banger, because I do enjoy the tune at its core. However, I just think it falters sonically. There's also Dumb and Poetic, which honestly leads to another gripe I have with this, and it's just, I don't think the forlorn angle is one of the best in her arsenal. Not quite her forte. However, there is lyrical absurdity here I just can't help but raise an eyebrow at. Like this guy pleasuring himself to the lyrics of Leonard Cohen, who is a immensely legendary singer-songwriter from Canada. Check out his first 4 albums and thank me later. Which is a sentiment I can get behind, which is calling men out on their bullshit. I just wish sonically this was more developed or more interesting. Now, Slim Pickins, though, I think is a great, tragically humorous track. A nice guitar strummed cut with spotlit fingerpicking, beautiful pedal steel, as she's sharing thoughts of settling for this guy who's not the sharpest tool in the shed. No pun intended, because that's another track on here that was kind of a dud for me, but I digress. How he's grammatically challenged, again, not too bright, and Sabrina's just settling and coming to the conclusion that all the guys who are good are either taken or not on this earth anymore. And Lie to Girls wins me over more so for the lyrics, saying there's no need to pretend, there's no need to put up a front, because women will see through your bullshit, but also pretend it's not there. They'll give themselves this illusion, which I'm not going to say for all women, because I'm not a woman, so I can't say, and women aren't monoliths, but you get the point. But she does sell it emotionally on here, that's for sure. And I do think there is some poetic, sad humor here. But the production to me just reads as Jack Antonoff deja vu. I'm pretty sure I heard this on a Taylor Swift track. There's also Bed Chem, which is a super luxurious, lush, and beautiful track. Very flirty, very sexual. It's very 80s synth R&B, and some humorous sexual lyrics as well. Like, come right on me, I mean camaraderie. Why aren't thou uponeth me? It's about meeting a guy, texting, visualizing how great the sexual chemistry is going to be. It's a great example, and definitely a example of how to use vintage production and not just use it as a crutch, not just go based off of the fact that you're using that style of instrumentation. The ending, though, is a little too washed out for my taste, but I could appreciate the sentiment of the song, and I do think in context to the album, I do see how it fits, with it being a tie-in to her departing from the relationship being over, and then it being the end of the album. So I would say it ties in well. I just wish it was a better song. So overall, I did like this LP. I think it's an interesting turn for pop and a country collaboration, especially in the mainstream. Maybe not as consistently groundbreaking as I would hope for it to be, because I feel most of the best tracks find themselves in the middle of the album. But I feel the highlights do excel when it comes to humor, when it comes to production, when it comes to the songwriting, which is humorous at times, production is beautiful at times, intricate at times, in the context of a pop record. I know it's apples to oranges, but granted, not as creative as Charli XCX Brat, When We Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? No. But I feel she can get there. Because I feel there are production points that falter, not having the most recognizable voice, and tracks that she hasn't exactly found a strong grip for, meaning the slow, more forlorn tracks. But I appreciate her wit, I appreciate her humor, and her marriages of different genres that I feel are interesting, and also using sex and relationships and finding the humor to bind that together and make it for a amusing song, and a fun song too. But I do feel there is room for improvement, and I hope to see more of that from her in the future. I'm feeling a 3 out of 5 black hearts on this album. If you've given this a listen, what did you think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Why? I am Caspa. I am your plug. Please sub. Show me love. Caspa, Sabrina Carpenter. Till we meet again.